Hi, welcome to Happy Tales. I'm Cheryl Rosenthal, the Communications and Education Coordinator here at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
And I'm Joni Geiger, Executive Director.
And today our program is going to be about pet retention. We're going to be talking about the reasons why people surrender their pets to animal shelters. And we're going to look at the reasons both nationally and locally.
Right.
And the reason that a lot of people surrender their pets is because of a lot of various reasons, but unfortunately, people don't always think of calling the Humane Society before the problem gets out of hand. Usually by the time we get that phone call, Joni, these people are not willing, they're ready to slide off the rope.
Absolutely.
They're
so frustrated. They're just, we're at the point where we get that phone call, people are so frustrated and they're so upset with their pet, and they feel as though they've tried everything that they can, but it's still not working. And so what we want to talk about today is that, first and foremost, maybe that isn't necessarily true, and call us before you get to that point.
Right, and understand that we are a great resource for behavioral issues, and we're the experts.
Yeah.
We deal with these kind of problems every single day, and if we can't solve something, or we can find you the expert that can,
right,
and give them that knot to tie that they can hang on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times most people really don't want to get rid of their pet.
Sure.
And so let's look at some of the reasons why people surrender their pets. Nationally, the number one reason, Joni, for dogs and for cats is moving.
Mm-hmm.
And
dogs can't afford, behavioral issues, landlord won't allow, and too many.
Too many.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for cats, it's moving, behavioral, allergies, and we're going to touch a little bit on that, and can't afford, and again, just like dogs, can't afford.
Right.
And so we're going to be looking at a few of those, and our surrender information is similar, but a little bit different.
Right. It is similar. We see a lot of correlation between what's happening nationally and what's happening locally as well. So we concur that moving is number one reason in both cats and dogs. That's the number one reason that people are giving up pets. However, in some cases, as we're taking a surrender history, we recognize that there's an underlying problem with that moving situation as well.
So I'm moving, and I can't take my pet with me, but also the dog has a barking issue or isn't completely house trained, or I have a cat that's not using the litter box, or maybe a biting issue. Right. So sometimes there's underlying issues that come along with that moving. And then also too many. A lot of times people talk, they have too many pets, and that's something that we really can't do anything about. However, we can refer people to places where they can have their pets spayed or neutered
at a lower
cost.
Lower cost, exactly. And we recognize, Cheryl, that things are tough out there economically. It's harder than it has been in years past, and that people sometimes don't have the money for these types of things. And so again, they can call us, and we will refer them to other places that they can maybe get their cats or dogs spayed and neutered, because as you well know, cats breed very quickly, and people can be, they've got 2 cats and now all of a sudden they've got 9.
Right. And so the bottom line is we're not saying we don't want to take in owner surrenders, because we know that there are certain instances where people actually really do have to give up their pets. But we want people to have those tools that most of these people love their pet and they want to keep them, but they don't have the tools to do it. And so they need to call us as soon as a problem arises. They really need to contact their local shelter or contact our shelter and let us help them with that behavioral issue.
That's absolutely true, Cheryl. And I think, we'll go into a little bit about how we can help people. But I think we have to also remember too that when people call us, there has to be a level of commitment there. People have to be willing to work with the issue. They can't just, throw up their hands and say, I want to fix this, but I don't necessarily want to take the steps to do so.
A lot of times behavioral problems don't occur overnight. It isn't something, it's something that happens over a period of time. And so it's also something that's going to take a period of time to correct.
That is correct.
And if you've ever had a habit like nail biting or overeating or whatever it might be, habits, bad habits especially, are very difficult to break. And the same is true with behavioral issues. It's going to take sometimes longer to break that habit than it is to establish that
Sure.
habit. And so again, people need to make that commitment. So sometimes when I'm counseling people, I'll tell them, make a time frame. Let's try this for at least a month or 2 months and see if you're starting to see some
Right.
improvement.
Right.
Set yourself little goals to give yourself that encouragement. And it isn't something that's going to go away overnight. And it's very important that people understand that if they want to keep their pet, they really need to make that long-term commitment.
Well, let's talk about, specifically some of those issues that people have when they're surrendering their pets.